Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and my favourite people, and we've got one today, a lady who is up there in the top 5 singers ever in my view. Brenda Edwards, how are you?
Hello, Alex. I'm good. Thank you very much.
You are delicious.
Okay.
Why does that surprise you?
I'm blushing. Ooh, you can't tell.
You are so amazing. I'm here at Sheffield and I've just seen Hairspray, and there you are in this role. Yet another role where you get to just steal the show. It's remarkable. You did it with Killer Queen and you're doing it with this.
Oh, I mean, Hairspray is an amazing show and I'm so honoured and proud to be playing the role of Motormouth. It's a great role and I've been wanting to play it for years, since it first came out before it came out in the West End. I wanted to play it in the West End, so yeah.
I saw it originally on Broadway, and I think Mary Bond Davis or somebody did it, and she was in that Coming to America movie. And again, there is no faking your role. Yeah. It has got to be well picked, and you've got to deliver. Yeah. What pressure is there on you? Because there are 2 moments in the show where you've got to nail it. Yeah. How do you build yourself up to that?
I think, what I actually do is, because for the first act, I'm not on for like 50 minutes. The first show is going and 50 minutes later I come on. And I kind of we have our warm-up and everything, but I kind of use the Welcome to the 60s as my warm-up. So I try to sing along with the Dynamites because, they are fantastic. But so I warm up to that, and then I go try to get to the side of the stage for Run and Tell That, and I sing and get into it's really hard to get back into the groove after you've had an hour and a half of just sitting in your dressing room. But it's I'm so, like I said, I'm really lucky to be a part of such a great talented cast. And the principals that we've got in the show, Tony and Claire and Peter, they're just amazing to work alongside, and just to watch them how they portray their roles, and it's nice to feed off of them. And then you've got the rest of the cast. I mostly interact with the Motormouth kids, the Motormouth gang, and I just look at all of them as my children, and I think a lot of them call me mama, and that is me, and it just kind of makes it easy, I think, in that respect, to play the role. I don't think I'm not acting. I'm just being me, because I am a mother of 2 children, 2 teenagers, and I like to tell them, I like to lay down the law a bit. I think, and I'm always trying to give them my words of wisdom and encouragement and everything. So I think I'm just literally taking that and translating it onto the stage, which hopefully is translating. It seems to be translating. I
guess for a cast like this, there are 2 sides. There are those who are sort of the principals, which you're one of, and then there's the rest of the cast who must look at you with great awe, because they all want to be in this for a long time. Yeah. They're all mostly very young, and inexperienced. And when they hear somebody like you sing, it must be amazing to be around that. Do you sort of take on that motherly role professionally as well as personally?
I am mother, full stop. Even with all my friends. I mean, I started in Chicago, as 2005. God, was it? God, it was that long ago. 2005.
Even I can work out. That's nearly 11 years, isn't it?
It's a while ago. And, I was called, the role was Matron Mama Morton. And I have friends that I started that show with, and they still call me Mama to this day. And they're like in their 30s, but they call me Mama. I obviously can't be their mama in real life, but I guess that's just the way I am. That's just how I've always been, and my door is always open to all of the cast, regardless of whether we're principals or not. It's open. If anybody wants to talk, then the door is open. They can all come and talk to me and have a laugh, or if they just want to come and sit there and say nothing because they just want to get away from it all. And that's the beautiful thing about being on tour, in different to being in the West End. You do a show in the West End, you go home at night. You do your tour and you spend most of your time with the cast, and it's really nice that they're so warm. There's so much talent in this show. I mean, I watch those young'uns, and I wish I could kick my leg up and do that splits that Leighton does every night. It's amazing to watch. It is so amazing to watch, and it keeps me youthful as well. And that's why I love to surround myself with everybody. No matter how old you are, you're all my friends.
Although the door's not open today because they've lost the key. We've had to go somewhere else.
Yeah, somebody's taken my key. I will be finding out who that is, and they will get a telling off. To not mess with my key. No.
We're going to go serious a little bit because I know you made an announcement on Facebook last week, which was shocking for all of us when we found out. I didn't actually know until I spoke to you that you've had bad news recently, that you are looking head on and fighting. You've got breast cancer currently and you're still in the show, which is remarkable. Firstly, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm, obviously I found out a few weeks ago. It was just after New Year, actually. And it took a little while for it to sink in. And then I had to kind of figure out how to tell my children and my family, which was, it was and will probably be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I decided that I wanted to put something out after I told my family and my kids and everything and my friends. I decided I wanted to put something out because I wanted to just name and shame it. And, there's so many people that suffer from this, and unfortunately so many people have died and haven't recovered, and so many other people are fighting it as well. There's so much different types of cancer, and I think I've kind of gone along in my life being one of those people that you think it's never going to happen to you, and now it's happened to you. And I think because of the sort of person that I am, I had to just try and face it head on, and and coming out and publicising it, I think was a good way for me to do it, because it's out there now. And my son, who is just amazing, both of my children are amazing. I'm so proud and lucky to have such good children, but his main motto is self-belief. And it was hard seeing the colour literally drain out of their faces when I told them, but I was kind of like saying to myself, come on, I hadn't had the full diagnosis at the time when I told them, so it was all kind of up in the air. And and when I was telling them, look, it's going to be fine, I'm going to fight this, it's going to be great, don't worry about it, it's going to, I'm not going anywhere. And at the time I didn't really know if that was true or not, but you have to be positive. And my children have been so positive and so good about it, and all my friends and family, all the messages that I've received, that's what's keeping me going. And the show is what I needed to just help me to focus, and and just to realize that you can fight this, and if you let it get to you, then it's gonna really bring you down.
Did you catch it early?
I think I have caught it early, yeah. I had an operation the week before last, and when I came off the operating table, I got a phone call to say that it's not spread. Thank God. So, so I've started my chemo now, and I've had my first round of chemo last week, and so I'm just kind of there with my pen and paper, like making notes of whatever side effects, so that I know that I'm ready for it for my second course. And I'm feeling really, really positive about beating it. And NutriBullet is now my friend. Spinach and all the kale in the world and everything. And it's taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot of how to just change a lot of things about myself and just how I am. And I'm trying not to let any stress up on my life, and and just trying to stay positive and happy. And the cast have been so supportive. It's unreal. The producers, they've been so good to me. And they could have easily said, well, they could have easily written me off and says, right, well, because we don't really know what's going on, we're taking the role away from you. But they've been really, really good with that, and they've been like supportive and said, whatever shows I can do, they're happy for me to do them. And I'm over the moon that I've been able to come to Sheffield and do the opening night on Monday, and I'm still here, and I intend to be here for the whole week. So yeah, it's good.
And as we sit here, you're about to go on stage tonight to do it all again. What extra toll is this taking on you vocally and physically, or when you're on stage, does Dr. Shobers just take over? Yeah,
during the day, I'm obviously resting. Doctor's orders, family orders, friends' orders, the show orders. So I am being wise and resting and drinking lots of water and everything. But when I get into the show, you know, we do the warm up, and it does take a little bit of more time for me to get my head around it. And you know, I've had an operation where my breath is a bit. I've got a PICC line thing inside to help with my treatment, but that's very close to where I breathe and stuff. So that was a bit nervous for me on Monday doing the first night, and that was the first time I'd sung in like 2-3 weeks. So I was just a bit worried that it wouldn't come out. So, you know, now, like 2-3 days on, I'm feeling amazing. I think my voice, you know, I think my voice is stronger, and I really think I've got some extra gumption with what I'm going through, you know, to sing the 2 songs that I'm singing. And of course, you know, the second song that's in the second half, I Know Where I've Been, you know, the words are so poignant and it's so relevant to what's going on. You know, there's a road we've been travelling, lost so many on the way. You know, it's like, wow. It's hard, but I need to do this. I need to do this. You know, and I really hope that everybody, you know, everybody comes and they seem to be enjoying the show. It's an amazing show. It's a fun-filled show. What is there not to enjoy, really, if you think about it? You know, it's bright, it's colourful, lots of different wigs, and the band. Oh, it's just amazing. It's amazing. The best time.
2 things strike me about you, having known you nearly 10 years now, I think probably more than 10 years, is that I don't think you realise how amazing your voice is, and I don't think you realise how special you are. I wish you could see you, because it is incredible, and it's not surprising to me that on Monday, after your second song, you got a standing ovation, the only one before the end of the show, and I think that speaks volumes.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, you know, singing has always been the most important thing to me. You know, that's the one thing that I can remember when my parents died, like when I was 4 in a car crash, and I always remember them having music. That's the only memory that I have. That and curry sauce, weirdly enough. Every Friday they used to get a curry, and there was this certain smell of the curry sauce. It was a thick curry sauce. And I worked for years trying to find a Chinese shop that would do the same curry sauce. And I found it now, luckily, and I will travel to get it. But, you know, that and music, and I always say to people, music is the one common denominator that brings everybody and anybody together. And no matter if you're feeling down, or if you're sad, or if you're happy, music is always there, you know, to help lift you up and bring you out. So, you know, doing this show, you know, it was nice. It was a nice, overwhelming feeling for me to, you know, to have that reaction from the audience. You know, I'd be lying if I said it didn't mean anything to me. But it just. You know, every night, people always say to me, oh, it's the same show. How can you do the same show? You know, I did WWRY for 5 years. How can you do the same show and don't you get bored? I never get bored because it's always a different audience. And as far as I'm concerned, the way I'm going to perform is like it's my first night every single night. And that's what the audience are getting. They're paying their money, and I respect the fact, and I'm happy that the fact that they've spent their money to come and see this show. So if they've spent their money, I'm going to give them a show. That's it.
And you are just a great big show off, because you have the ability to do that. And the songs you are given in these shows, let's face it, you get a certain type of role, especially in We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, what fun.
I mean, you know, We Will Rock You, yeah, those songs were really, really hard. I mean, Queen, what is not to love about Queen? You know, Freddie Mercury, I can't even put it into words what I think of Freddie Mercury, but the talent and his voice and the soul that came across every single time he sang, you know, it's people like him, people like Whitney Houston, Tina Turner, you know. I grew up listening to those people that have unique voices, strong voices, soulful voices, just tell a story through a song, which is not easy. You get singers and you get singers, you know, and people can sing, but to sing and tell that story, that's what it's about for me, and that's what I try to do. And I'm just so lucky to in my mind, again, have the great songs in the show. It's really cool. I can't lie.
And we should thank X Factor for this, because let's face it, without that you probably wouldn't be here. And thank God you were in it when you were, because it seems to me, I might be wrong, that we just don't care anymore. There aren't going to be any more Shanes or Brendas or Leonas. It's sort of gone, and I think they know it. The fact that they've already sacked the last winner before they've started recording the new one is unbelievable.
I know. I mean, I'm very, very thankful to Sharon Osbourne. You know, she saw something in me and she put me on that show. And the producer, Simon, you know, I really worked hard every week on that show, and I've continued to do so. And, you know, I keep watching it because I think I watch it because I was on it, and I just want to see how it progresses and where it goes. You know, and I think last year, for me, I think Fleur was my ultimate favourite of anybody that's won it. And I think that's mostly because, you know, when I did my year, she was in my year. And so we've kept in touch all this time, you know, and she's been to see me in We Will Rock You. She came to see me in Hairspray. And she's been so supportive, and she's so real, you know, and that's what I think a lot of people, you know, that sometimes go on these shows, they lose sight of who they actually are. And so I think that's kind of come across to the audience, you know, but yeah, it's a shame. You get signed and then 2 weeks later you're dropped because it just wasn't supposed to be, I suppose. But, you know, I've got a lovely career in the West End and in the musical theatre, and I'm very, very grateful to it, and I'm going to keep hold of it for as long as I can.
I always remember when I started in radio, somebody said to me, the hardest thing about this job is they've forgotten your name by the time you leave the car park. And it's true. To stay relevant and in work is really tough. Yeah. And you've defied the critics, you've defied everybody by doing it. Yeah. And as you stand on that stage, you should be incredibly proud. I hope you are.
I am. Thank you. It's really, it's an honour. It's an honour. I mean, you know, when I was doing X Factor, there was this big thing about, you know, I think there was 1 week where Simon says, "Oh yeah, you'll be good in the West End," and you know, it offended me because I'm thinking, why are you trying to make out like the West End is such a second-rate thing to do? Because in my mind, there's not many people that can sing 8 shows a week, 4 years running, continuously. You don't do that on a tour. You do like a 27-date tour or whatever, or you have your auto-tune underneath the stage. Do you know what I mean? In the West End and on musicals and things, we sing live every single night. What we're feeling is what you're feeling. There's no auto-tune, there's no miming, there's none of that goes on, but yet it doesn't get respected in the way. And I think it's probably a sign, you know, X Factor, there's rumours of it closing. It's been the last one this year or whenever it is, this year or next year. But, you know, the musicals and the West End will still be going strong. So, you know, that's where the longevity is in my mind. And I don't think anybody should knock it because we work our socks off hard every single night. And it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I'm just very, very grateful to be a part of this family. Really, really honoured.
The discipline amazes me, but what amazes me more is when you meet somebody like you, and there are only a handful of people I've seen anywhere in the world can do what you can do, which is elevate a show that's already brilliant, and you do that every time. I wish you well with your recovery. You are such a fighter and an inspiration. I know many people are going to take great strength from this. I really wish you well. Brenda Edwards, good to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you.